Welcome to another segment of this CoffeeCast from Owens Corning on Tech Stack. My name is Heidi Ellsworth, and I am here with the experts in Tech Stack today to talk about another technology that's part of this amazing Owens Corning program. But first, I'd like to introduce all of these gentlemen who are here today, starting out with John Gardner of Owens Corning, and then Dave Banas of Owens Corning, and Keith Massey with Podium. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Hey, Heidi.
So let's start out with some introductions so everybody knows who everyone is. So John, if I can start with you, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what we're doing.
Sure thing, Heidi. Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to take a second to say thank you, Heidi, for the invitation, and number one and number two, for all the great work that you and your team do through Roofers Coffee Shop. Just amazing stuff over the decades, I should add.
Thank
great
you.
Stuff. Yes, my name is John Gardner, and I work here at Owens Corning. I head up our strategic partnerships here, as well as our learning and development platforms. I work very closely with Dave Banas, who is on here with us, of course, and looking forward to unpacking a little bit more about our tech stack today, Heidi.
Yeah, I am too. I'm so excited. Dave, can you introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Dave Banas, Digital Contractor Manager here at Owens Corning. And like John said, I work closely with him. My role is to understand the digital tools that contractors use to run their business, get more work and get work done, understand how they work in their own tech stack, if they work together, and help recommend solutions to contractors.
Excellent. Thank you. And Keith, welcome. We are so excited to talk about Podium today. If you can introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Podium.
Yeah, so my name's Keith Massey. I'm a strategic partner manager here at Podium, and I've worked with John and Dave for a few years now and love working with roofers tied to Owens Corning. But Podium is a texting and a communications platform. And what most contractors know us for is we're the best in the world at helping small businesses get a ton of reviews on Google to help them get found and chosen by more customers in their local markets.
So important, and such an important part of this tech stack. So before we jump into that, John, you had the vision to kind of bring all this together. So let's just talk a little bit about the overall tech stack and then dive into this component with Podium.
Yeah. Thanks for the question. And, to unpack that, it's really, from our perspective, Heidi, we come at it from a simple perspective, which is understanding and solving all of our contractors' issues, problems, and most importantly, kind of teeing up opportunities to help them scale and then eliminate some of those problems that are preventing them from getting there. The tech stack itself is a platform that we've built utilizing our business solutions partners to, in a real way, help contractors to connect the technology dots so that they have a fully integrated resource to help them scale their business and utilize the best-in-class technologies to really eliminate, as I said, those problems and get their business in a new place, in a place where they really envision it and where they want it to go. And technology is the way of the future in roofing and in all other businesses. And we're really proud of the work that we've done, Dave and I and the team, and working with our business solutions partners to create a real working tech stack that allows our contractors to tap into it at any time, because we've done a lot of the hard work in the back end. And Dave mentioned all the work that he does with regard to just unpacking the technology itself and really pressure testing it in the back end. And so we are just so excited. And today, having conversations with Podium here with regard to the tech stack, Keith had just mentioned it's about communications and it's about reviews, but the way that we look at it is it's pulling back all of those the areas that are preventing contractors from making those important connections with homeowners the way that homeowners want to be connected. And then number two is, when it comes to communicating, there's nothing more important in a job like a roof or like a kitchen or any other part that's going around the house to connect with the homeowner, to keep them up to date on what's going on with a job and utilizing everybody wants to text. And so
Right.
if I'm a homeowner and I'm feeling like my contractor is totally connected with me, that's part of what Podium does. And so when you think about that in terms of the tech stack, it's right there in the very part, in the beginning of that technology circle where, one of the most important places is giving homeowners a way to connect with contractors, whether it's 7 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock at night, at midnight, at any point during the time the homeowners are like, I want a new roof. That Podium is really integrated into the tech stack to allow our contractors to take in that information and respond to it just as fast as it came in. And one of the things that I want to mention here is that, we talked about communication reviews, but it's also about speed. Speed to lead and speed to communication is really, it's a must have in today's business world. It's a must have in the consumer's mind. And if we don't get past that, then we've lost that opportunity with a significant percentages as the minutes go on. So when we think about Podium, think about it in terms of the ability to communicate very easily, the ability to utilize this communication platform to drive as many reviews, 5-star reviews, because the homeowner is so satisfied and feels so connected with the contractor. And at the end of the day, Podium plays such an important role in making sure that homeowner, has a complete and really solid experience in the whole sphere of technology, so that when a job is done, that homeowner says, I am so happy with this contractor. I can't wait to tell them about him or her to my friends, to my neighbors, and of course to social media. So we absolutely love our relationship with Podium. We love what Podium has done with the hundreds and hundreds of contractors across in terms of their ratings online. And then that turns into more lead gen, more branding, more opportunities to continue to grow their business. So, there is a significant opportunity for contractors to take advantage of Podium within the tech stack and the tech wheel.
It really is. I mean, texting is it. And we just had things done on our home, and our contractor texted us. We knew what was going on. We're so happy afterwards. So Keith, talk a little bit about that. Talk about the importance of strong communication, your technology that leads to the reviews, to like John said, the referrals. It's such a great circle.
Yeah. So like John mentioned, when we start getting a ton of reviews coming in, what'll happen organically is in their local markets, they're going to be showing up in the first, the top 3 of Google's map pack. That's where you want to be. That's the best place because number one, you're going to get a ton of leads because 77% of clicks happen on the first 3 companies that are listed in Google's map pack. And if you are the obvious choice, like if you've got 100 or 200 or 300 more reviews than the nearest competitor in your local market, everyone's going to call your business first. And so that's what we want. And so with Podium, we have all these different avenues for customers to be able to get in touch with contractors today, whether it's over the phone, email. Some contractors might have SMS, or they have third-party sites that are pushing them leads. So with Podium, we pull all of those leads into one inbox, and we can automatically respond to leads as they come in. So if someone calls you and you miss the phone call, if you're using Podium's phones, we can automatically trigger a text message that says, hey, sorry we missed your call. How can we help you today? That's something that automatically happens in the back end where, traditionally those roofers that don't pick up those calls and they don't leave a voicemail, now they don't have any way to be able to get in touch with that customer, and they lose that lead right out of the gate. Now with Podium, we're capturing those leads, capturing the information, and allowing that conversation to continue through text. So that's just one example with our phones tool, but also, if they set up Podium's web chat on their website and someone messages in, we can automatically send them a response that says, thank you for contacting ABC Roofing. If you'd like to schedule an appointment, you can use this link to be able to schedule that automatically. So it's all about making it simple for the roofers to be able to interact with the customers, and also coming to them, as John mentioned, on a platform that they prefer to communicate on. A lot of people, they don't like picking up the phone to call anymore. So if we can be able to push all those communications through text, it's really going to improve the customer experience for the homeowners they're working with.
And Heidi, if I could just just there's a piece of information here that's really worth noting. It's like, well, what has Podium done and how has Podium helped our contractors in our network? And there's only, one way to really showcase that in terms of Podium, and it's where did our contractors start in their reviews? What rating were they at in aggregate? And where are the contractors that are using Podium today in terms of their star rating? And it is a sizable jump. So Keith, could you share that? Because I mean, Heidi and then the folks listening here will be like, wow, that helps you understand exactly what Podium does.
Yeah, to me, it's very stark difference. So we did a Google audit of over 24,000 Owens Corning contractors, and what we found was the average star rating for an Owens Corning contractor that's not using Podium is 3.9 stars. And so if you think about that, when was the last time you took your significant other to a restaurant that was 3.9 stars? Probably never, right? The average number of reviews, 36 reviews was the average. And on average, they were getting about 1 review per month. If you compare that to the contractors that are using Podium, their average star rating is 4.7 stars, 168 reviews, and they're getting 25 new reviews per month. So
wow.
It's a very stark difference, right? And so that's why I'm saying if we can get them in the top 3 and we can get them to be the obvious choice compared to the competition, they're just going to get a ton of leads and they're going to be very, very successful.
Yeah.
And imagine
impressive.
amplifying that in a technology stack, amplifying that, because now you take that amazing result and you actually amplify that, because Heidi, we're implementing Podium into the tech stack. So you have an opportunity to leverage Podium for what it does, which is amazing, if you just heard. But 2 is you can actually make it even stronger by integrating it into other technologies that are so important to the business that really leverage Podium, and Podium leverages them. I mean, Job Nimbus, Dave, is a great example of just the significance of integration when it comes to the tech stack. And Podium on its own, fantastic, unbelievable, we love it. But that integration part just helps us double down and throw gasoline on it, right, Dave?
Yeah, John. One of the biggest complaints from homeowners is a lack of communication, right? So we've already talked about how using a Podium platform can help contractors communicate with homeowners better manually, but integrating it with Job Nimbus or some other CRMs, you can set up automations that will automatically notify homeowners when certain things change, right? If a status of the project changes, they get a text letting them know, like, hey, this changed. If there's going to be a delivery of product, they can get a text letting them know that, hey, the expected delivery. You can set up templates to let you know how you need to prepare for that delivery. Make sure your cars are out of the garage, and other type of things to watch out for. Using the power of a CRM and setting up as integrations with Podium to improve the communication to the homeowner is fantastic.
I think, that's exactly, as I'm sitting here listening to all this, I'm just thinking, to me, that communication throughout the project is so important and is what actually drives that final reviews and referrals and everything else, because you just feel so good at it. I'm curious too, kind of as contractors are looking at this and thinking about it, I know tech stacks, Keith, I'm sure you hear this all the time. New technology is scary. It's something that companies are like, it's a hassle. I don't know if I want to do this or not. But from your stats, which I love, those stats, it shows it's worth every second, and you all make it easy. So talk a little bit about the importance of roofing companies really looking at this strongly and being a part of the Owens Corning Tech Stack overall.
Yeah, so one of the common themes we hear from a lot of roofers is, I've been doing it this way for years. I don't need to change. I don't need to update. And the fact is, if they don't start applying some of these new technologies, they're going to get left in the dust by the competition. And so when we start looking at the tech stack and and the things that it can do to enable their business to be, number 1, more efficient, number 2, easier to do business with them. And if we start putting those tools together, for example, Job Nimbus and Podium, we have the ability to sync those contacts automatically between both platforms, so they're not having to double enter the customer's information. And as soon as we mark a job as completed in Job Nimbus, we can automatically send that text message asking for the review for the customer without them having to do anything additional on their end that they're not already doing within the system. So, and we're going to be continuing to add more and more functionality between the integrations between Podium and Job Nimbus as well. But it's all about helping the contractor get more done, less time, and then utilizing the technology to be able to help automate the things in their life that they don't need to be spending a whole lot of time on. So that's what I would say.
You're
Heidi,
really working with all
I'm
of
sorry,
them,
go ahead,
right?
Heidi.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, John, I think you were going to go there too. But really, you're really working with all of these companies, these technology companies that we've been talking to. So, John, talk about that. I mean, how they all come together, I think, from marketing and Podium, you're right, kind of travels through the whole
Yeah, it
process.
really does. So the uniqueness of Podium is significant in the tech stack because Podium, the very beginning, it's all about homeowners finding you. So Podium is embedded into our contractor's website. That integration allows for a seamless integration into the Podium platform. Homeowners know nothing except like, wow, they answered me right away via text. That's just so amazing.
Yeah.
And then Podium also comes into play at the end of the tech stack where the job is complete, the homeowner is super happy. That's where Podium is leveraged again to drive the review. And you can see how we arrived at that 3.9 rating all the way up to a 4.7 rating because we've closed the loop for that homeowner. The homeowners are exceptionally happy with the job because of that significant part called communication, right? And, you had mentioned, Heidi, that, there's a lot of friction with something like this. And no doubt, as a small business, you have to decide, where am I going to invest my dollars? What technology am I put in first? And that's one of the things that our contractors can lean on Owens Corning for, specifically with Dave as part of the team here that built it out. Dave's technology background allows us the opportunity to understand a little deeper about how our contractors' businesses are running and understanding some of those metrics inside of the technology if they have it or if they don't, and measuring where we might want to implement the first technology for our contractors. And so when you look at all of the technologies that are built within the tech stack, Podium, no doubt, is one of the most important parts. And I do want to mention this. You had said, Heidi, and rightly so, and I was just making mention to it a second ago, that there's a lot of angst and I'm not sure where to start and what technology should I pick? Where should I go? Utilize the resources we put together in the tech stack to help you unpack those real questions, because we've actually put together a pretty cool packet and a resource for contractors that help to uncover the value of the tech stack and where you might want to go with some of the documentation that we built into the tech stack platform. But the part that I want to make mention here is, look, contractors are texting homeowners all day long because that's the way homeowners want to be texted. Imagine I have 5 salespeople. 5 salespeople are texting homeowners all over the place. What did you say? When did you say it? Did you put me in charge of something? Did you say that it's now somebody else's responsibility to contact the homeowner? Texting is powerful, but used in the wrong way, become much more confusing for the homeowners because now they have multiple texts coming on and not quite sure if I connected, all that good stuff. One of the valuable parts of Podium is the platform itself that allows, as an owner, to look at all of the text conversations that are going on by customer. Who is texting the homeowner? When that text was passed on to the next person in charge of it, whether it's going from intake to sales to production to close, that text, that communication flow, one of the most valuable parts of Podium is allowing the owner, the salesperson, anybody in the organization to have full transparency of what the communication was. And it allows them the opportunity to jump in when needed, or when the owners of the company said it's time for you to get going on this particular customer, your turn. All the while, the homeowner is just going through this whole communication and they're like, oh my God, this is the most amazing experience I've had with a contractor, because there's so many touch points. And that I wanted to share with you because it kind of helps to understand, well, texting is one thing, but texting with a platform that's built with a company like Podium takes it to a whole nother level.
Right. And the whole
Yeah.
risk
And if I could just add
factor.
one,
Yeah,
go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like John was saying, if we can put all of the customers' communication in one spot, so we've got all their text message, all the pictures, all the videos, we can include their text links for collecting payment, and then including our phone's information. Our phones will actually give an AI created summary of the call with bullet points. And so now there's no guesswork of where the customer's at. You can assign a conversation to someone within the business instead of having to call them and say, hey, I just got off the phone with Joe. He needs X, Y, and Z. You just assign a conversation. Now you have full transparency of everything that's been communicated there. And it clears up so much misinformation. We had one customer that had a dispute with American Express, which you guys know how difficult that can be to be able to get chargebacks reconciled. And he went back to his Podium instance where he had a conversation with the customer, and we had the transcript where the customer had agreed to the $18,000 charge. And he took a snapshot of that, sent it over to American Express, and was able to get American Express to side with him. So those are just some of the reasons why having everything in one spot just clears up so many communication deadfalls that companies face today.
And, I know this is a lot, and it gets exciting because I kind of just hearing all this, I'm kind of going, oh, I love this so much. So Dave, just real quick, as you're working on these integrations and as you're working with the different folks, what are you hearing back from the contractors about being able to really, use all this different technology?
Yeah, Podium solves a lot of problems, right? We talked about it. It helps them with their communication, from the website. It gets them into something that's organized, that they have, insight into, that they can see. It helps them communicate directly to the homeowners, especially setting up those automations like I, mentioned earlier, that keeps the homeowner informed. Like, that's one of the big takeaways, is that if a homeowner knows what's going on, they're going to feel better about the whole entire process, and they're more likely to leave a better review at the end of it because they feel like, they've been in a loop. My contractors, have been transparent with me. I know what's going on. And just, going through and increasing those reviews and ratings, like Keith said, it's so important to get great reviews to show up in that map pack. And that's a huge part of it.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I love this. Thank you, Keith, so much for, first of all, the technology, for what everything you're doing with Owens Corning. And this is just, I have so many thoughts in my head right now. I can't even tell you the amount of risk, everything else that Podium's going to take care of. So, John, any last thoughts?
I would say to folks that are listening and that want to learn a little bit more about it, our tech stack, including information with regard to how Podium fits into it, is available on oc.com, owenscorning.com. In addition to that, we have plenty of information via our area sales manager. So reach out to your local area sales manager to unpack a little bit more about the tech stack. And at the end of the day, and Dave, you and I talk about this a lot, is like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And this is exactly how contractors may want to approach their technology and the integrations, is with regard to, look, take it as a priority, right? So what part of the business needs the attention the most, or where do you think you're leaking the most, or where's your biggest opportunity to scale? And that's where you start with your tech stack. And Dave, there's one other piece too with regard to that, is like, if I'm just starting from scratch, it's like, where should I start? Because that's probably one of the most interesting questions, is if I don't have technology today, where on earth do I start? And so Dave and I worked a lot on that part too. And so Dave, that might be something to share as well.
Yeah, one thing we recognize is contractors aren't all starting from the same place. Like they're starting from different maturity levels in their business and different pain points. So there's a core piece of technology that we outline in the resources. A group of 3 tools: CRM, accounting, measurements, right? That contractors should have as their base. And then there's also a resource with other questions that contractors can ask themselves when looking at their tech stack and looking at their problems, to kind of find out where they're at and what they can address next.
Yeah. Well, Keith, any last thoughts?
No, I'd look forward to working with you guys. If you're interested, feel free to reach out. Like John said, you can go to the Owens Corning website to learn more about Podium. But normally we'll set up a 30-minute demo call to show you what the platform can do for your business. And usually after the end of that call, you can determine if it's something that's going to be a benefit for you guys. And then the last thing is onboarding for us is very simple. So if you've ever gone through onboarding with a CRM, it's nothing like that. So we can get you guys up and going in 30 minutes, and sending texts with your customers makes it very, very simple to get going, especially for those that are not as tech savvy as you would like to be. We make it really simple, and our onboarding team is really great to work with.
So important.
And Heidi, I'm going to, if you don't mind, I'll leave with one more piece of like data, some information. Yes. And it kind of unpacks all of this here and puts it into, perspective, which is, we talked about communication, really important. We talked about reviews, really important. But at the end of the day, all of this is being driven by really one thing, which is speed. And speed to lead, speed to communication, speed to anything in business is super important. And one piece of information that I read recently in an article was that after 5 minutes from the time that the homeowner requests to be connected with the contractor to get some work done, or at least understand them a little bit more, after 5 minutes, if the contractor has not responded, that opportunity to convert that lead drops by over 80%. And so when we think about speed, it's no longer in hours. It's certainly no longer in days. It is being measured in minutes. And that's why technology is such a critical part of the business. And that's why technology that's integrated is so important to the business, because you want all the technologies to serve that. You want the technologies to serve what I'm trying to get done. In this case, speed, communication, and a predictable process that I can repeat time and time again, regardless of how much I scale the business. And that's why Podium is such a critical part of the tech stack that we brought to market.
I love it. That's so perfect. That's it right there. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much. We have more coming, more on the tech stack from Owens Corning during this CoffeeCast. So watch for the next videos. Again, thank you all for being here today.
Thank you,
Heidi.
Thank you. We'll be seeing you on the next CoffeeCast with Owens Corning Tech Stack. So stay tuned.